Phil Jimenez at the Boston Comic Con, recently off Superwoman. Just in a nutshell, how did you feel about the run overall?
In a nutshell, I was really excited to be asked to be a part of Rebirth. Superwoman was an interesting challenge because I hadn't done a monthly book in a long time, and I'd forgotten how much I hate monthly books. But it was a lot of fun to play in the Superman universe, and particularly with Lana and Lois Lane. And my whole goal with that book was to take two characters who had this sort of historic rivalry and to sort of rethink it in new terms for 2017. So at least for that, I'm actually really grateful.
Now, a lot of fans were disappointed after the first issue when it seemed many people thought they were coming into the book and Lois Lane was going to be the lead. And after the first issue, she wasn't the lead. Can you expand on that just a little bit for them? Maybe try to bring them on what happened? Was that always the plan?
So that was always the plan. So we knew that we had to get rid of the new 52 Lois as part of this rebirth because the old Superman and old Lois Lane were coming back. But I didn't want to get rid of her entirely, which is why I brought her back as this ghost, or this essentially the Lana's like voice on her shoulder. It was a character I wanted to play with, also because that Lois Lane was half Mexican like I am, and so there was a lot of stuff I wanted to do. But I knew that we weren't going to be able to keep her in physical form. So my goal was at least to have her around in some way. And because my whole goal with Lana was to tell a story about someone who was having panic attacks because she'd lost someone, her best friend, her work partner, her parents. I brought back her brother. And that sort of was reflective of some stuff that I was going through at the time, and I was really, really interested in loss and what happens like to us when we go through sudden loss. I always knew that I was going to bring Lois back in some form. Again, my happy discovery was that Lois Lane is actually really funny, especially played off of Lana, who is this sort of straight woman in this, or not funny person. But we always knew that Lois could not stick around, so what I wanted to do was use the drama of her departure to give them both new stories.
Now, if you have a nice look at the hands of Phil Jimenez, you'll see that those are some really meaty, beefy hands. Why? Because this guy can really draw. What is the process for accomplishing what you did on, say, like Superwoman 1, where you not only did the writing, but you also did the art? The paneling was superb, and the line work. How do you accomplish something like that on a monthly basis without just going spastic?
Well, as you can tell, I can only do 2 or 3 at a time. I'm not really great with a monthly book. It's a great question. It's just my approach. I've often said that I am of the George Perez school. I'm perpetuating a way of telling stories that uses the comic book page very specifically. I'm not interested in telling movies on a comic book. I'm interested in telling a comic book in a comic book. And so I panel and tell stories using what I believe are the great strengths of the comic book and design that way. And when it comes to like those little details, I think the hardest part is finding an inker. My inker, Matt Cianarelli, was literally a guy I met at New York Comic Con. I was like, we need an inker on a book, can you do it? And we threw him into the deep end. And so for both of us, it was a real learning experience. And now he's a working inker. So that's just kind of what I do. I think of comic books as comic books. I'm interested in their form and the format, and I try to use it to the best of my ability. Probably, as ever, taking like the George Perez influence and bringing it to the future.
Phil Jimenez, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, guys.